All right. Welcome, guys. We're going to go ahead and start this early. So, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about today. And one of that is one of the topics is the Israel Gaza war. Okay. And, well, that's going to lead us into another topic. But mainly, what I really want to focus on is Israel's influence on America and how deeply entrenched Israel is to America. And let me say first, before we get into this, right? Just because I know there will be some bots, there will be some people that are going to try to come after me, depending on what I talk about. But the very fact that I'm even talking about Israel is going to warrant some unwanted attention. But I'm completely fine with that because this shit really needs to be talked about. So, um, the ceasefire is awesome. I could not be happier about the ceasefire. Any loss of life is very, very tragic, and I'm glad that this ceasefire has been brought about. Um, but there is something also to note, uh, or a question to ask, right? That will lead into something to note is that will Israel honor the will Israel honor this ceasefire? That's the question, right? And I want to be very, very clear that listen, um, it's not the every it's not the everyday Jew, right? It's it's our own government officials along with sketchy donors who want to capture all of the land that is supposed to belong to Greater Israel, right? So, and I've seen a lot of Reddit, or I've seen a few Reddit forums where a lot of, I should say, regular, everyday Jewish people, who may not even be Jewish, have really no idea about what's going on. They really don't. A lot of people don't know what's going on. So this isn't a Jewish thing. This isn't a Muslim thing. This isn't any religion thing. This is about people who are trying to fuck over the average person. That's what this is about. And unfortunately, they're using all kinds of everyday people as tokens, pawns in their bigger scheme of things, right? And that's what this is about. And our own government, excuse me, is complicit in allowing this shit to happen. But the question to ask is how deeply connected, right? Because for the past several years, it's always been Israel this, Israel that, Israel this, Israel that, right? Especially since President Trump had took office. Okay, so we'll get into that stuff later, but I did want to make very clear that I do not hate anyone aside from what their character is. If you feel as though it's perfectly acceptable to take innocent life, to harm those who are innocent simply because of the way that they believe, yeah, there's some animosity there for sure. And if you are a rich billionaire who doesn't care to fuck over the average person because you want to buy your 15th yacht, there's also some amnesty there as well. And if you want to, pretty much, if you are someone who wants to take the life of someone else for indifference, unprovoked violence, or whatnot, I don't like you. I don't like you at all. If you want to harm people based on what they believe, right? For no good reason at all, I don't like you. If you want to oppress people for no good reason, I mean, well, I'd say there are good reasons for oppression, but if you want to oppress people for no good reason, I don't like you. I don't like you at all. Right? I want to make that distinction. I do care about people as long as they have good character. Okay. If you are a person of good character, in my opinion, in my standing, you're a good person. And I can definitely get behind you, for sure. So, but that's enough on that. I just say that because I know the things that I'm talking about here are the things that I'm going to talk about. Well, may get me some negative attention, and I want to be sure to elaborate some things, just so they don't try to pull some dumb shit on me. So, as we know, recently there is a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel, right? What's interesting is that, and I probably should have pulled up a picture of this. Tell you what, let's pull up a picture of this. Let's see, is there an aerial view? Is there an aerial view? Oh. So I think. Let's see. So 85%. 85% of Gaza has been wiped away. Right? As soon as we can get rid of this ad here. Tell you what. All right. So as you can see here, look at all this carnage. Look at all this devastation. Right? How is this not a genocide? That's what I want to know. How is this not a genocide? %85 of Gaza was completely turned to dust. Okay. And so Israel, as far as I understand, has full occupation of Gaza right now. Okay. After the ceasefire, negotiations were being handled, talks were being talked. And so the plan, as of October 10th, is to go back. Apparently, the first phase is already done, right? So Israel only has about 53% of Gaza. Okay. Then they'll move to 40, then they'll move to 15, and then they will let Gaza be Gaza. That's the plan, right? There are already hostages that have been released. There have already been hostages that have been released. What I want to point out to you guys is look at the discrepancy, right? Israel has agreed to release 250 Palestinians, right? But they, oh, I mean, that number is pretty low last time I saw it. That number is very low last time I saw it. I think it was like 250,000, 260, 270, I think. And is the Israeli captives were a much lower number. But this is something that I really, really wanted to talk with you guys about too. The United States is going to go ahead and set aside $11 million more in the aid for Gaza over the next few months. Trump said numerous wealthy countries were ready to commit helping to rebuild Gaza without saying who the countries were. What I want to know is who were those countries? Where's the money coming from? Okay. That's what I want to know. It's a little suspicious that they're not saying who is wanting to help rebuild Gaza. Right. It's really crazy to me that none of that is being talked about. This is supposed to be the most transparent administration, right? So I want to know, where is that money coming from? Because it sure as fuck isn't coming from anyone else, right? Let's see. Where is... this is what I want to talk about. Guys, look at this. Since 1946, right, up until last year, look at how much money we've donated to Israel's military. $244 billion. Okay. We are funding their war. So you can imagine, and all of these are coming from us, taxpayers. It's not coming from our government. It's not coming from any. It's not coming out of our government representatives' pockets. No, it's coming from us. They're stealing our money to fund Israel's war. Okay. And look at the discrepancy. Everywhere else, we fund Israel the highest. The highest. Okay. And that's not that isn't to help their economics. I mean, this is the military that we're funding. We're funding their military. And it blows their economy out of the water compared. Dude. So you can imagine where the money is going to come from to rebuild this, right? And I do believe there are also some other plans because they were talking about real estate. So check this out.
Well, you know how I feel about the Gaza Strip. I think it's an incredible piece of important real estate. It's you know what I call it, a great location that nobody wants to live in because they really don't. And when they have good living, real living, where Hamas and all of the problems they have, the level of death on the Gaza Strip is just incredible. I don't understand why Israel ever gave it up. Israel owned it. It wasn't this man, so I can say it. He wouldn't have given it up. I know him very well. There's no way. They took oceanfront property and they gave it to people for peace. How did that work out? Not good. Well, you know how I feel.
Yeah, so what that tells me is that there is a plan. There is a plan for some kind of deal, right, between U.S., Israel, and whatever other countries to take advantage of the land that is now pretty much fucking turned to dust. Real estate. And I'm sure Trump's going to build his towers out there. And I'm sure that the Zionists and the Likud party is going to be very happy to have essentially control of and put their banks there. Um, so that's just really interesting to me is that they're talking about real estate, right? Real estate. Why was that brought up? Why specifically was that brought up? And I didn't see all of the speech. I was fast forwarding here and there to try and catch this clip here. But there was a lot of talks of Ukraine Russia war, trade. He was also talking about China as well. You know, China, always gonna talk about China. It's fucking, it's crazy, dude. And I just think that's crazy. He was talking about that we lose hundreds of billions of dollars, right? But then here we go. Here we have over $300 billion that we are funding, right? Over $300 billion that we have given to Israel since 1946. Bro. Let's see. Actually, the United States provided Israel considerable economic assistance from 1971 to 2007, but nearly all U.S. aid today goes to support Israel's military, right? The most advanced in the region, the United States has provisionally agreed via a memorandum of understanding to provide Israel with $3.8 billion per year through 2028, including $500 million per year for missile defense. That shit adds up. Why are we funding another country for their missile defense? Why? And why are we sending $3.8 billion on top of that? He's talking about wasting, or not wasting, but losing hundreds of billions per year. But we're so willing to give $3.8 billion a year. Why? Right? Makes you ask questions. Why is it that this is happening? And so there have been a lot of debates about whether the October 7th attack was a false flag. Okay. And I saw quite a bit of footage. I saw quite a bit of footage from back then. And well, what I would have to say is that just from the footage that I saw, the strip, right? The Gaza Strip, the border between Gaza and Israel, was left completely undefended. There is footage of them cutting holes in the fence line, right next to a watchtower that was unmanned. So I want to know exactly what in the fuck happened, right? Let's see. Okay, so 2018, Israel knew the battle plan to invade Israel. They knew about it. They knew about it for years. And they just didn't consider it a possibility. Right. That makes sense. This is the main conclusion. Into the colossal security failure of the Hamas-led attack. It was the single deadliest day in Israeli history. It was a huge amount of life unnecessarily lost. I saw those videos too. It was terrible. I really do feel bad for the innocent Israelis and Palestinians that were caught up in that. Unfortunate. This is the first inquiry by Israel's main agency tasked with spying on Hamas into why Israel failed to detect and prevent the attack. Following another inquiry, the Shin Bet hinted at failures by Israel's political leadership to carry out the agency's desire to senior or to assassinate senior Hamas leaders, propping up Hamas. I don't know if that is a rule for YouTube. It's not like I'm monetized anyway, so in Gaza to buy calm on its borders. Okay, so here's what we want to find out. What went wrong? It is an unusual move for the organization, for the spy agency published. Okay, Tuesday. Here is the list of main findings. Israel maintained a policy of calm with Hamas, which allowed for the group's massive buildup. Okay. Israel allowed Qatar to transfer millions of dollars to Hamas to fund its governing bureaucracy in Gaza. The money was diverted to Hamas military capabilities. Right. Because, look, bro, it doesn't matter. A lot of that shit over there is bro. I mean, Iran pretty much said that they were responsible for Hamas, right? And so of course they're going to be funneling all kinds of shit through all these different countries. Doesn't make sense. Israel falsely thought Hamas was trying to inflame tensions in the Israeli-occupied West Bank rather than maneuvering to invade Israel from Gaza. Look, with how powerful Palantir is, I highly doubt that they were thrown off by this shit. Israel thought its border barrier with Gaza was more fortified than it actually was. They had a fence with watchtowers. Okay. Israel had a poor network of spies in Gaza following the botched intelligence operation in Gaza that Hamas uncovered in 2018. Gaza is a closed-off territory, making it difficult for Israel to recruit sources there. Hamas's decision to attack when it did was due to a confluence of three factors: Israel practices regarding religious Jewish ultra-nationalism activities in Al-Aqsa Mosque, whatever that is, compound. I know what a mosque is. Compound in Jerusalem, which is also revered in Judaism. Israel's treatment of Palestinian prisoners, which had hardened under Israel's far-right government. The Likud, I'm pretty sure, is what they're talking about. Israel's social Israel obtained intelligence of Hamas's battle in two iterations, once in 2018 and another in 2022. So they had two chances. A series of signs in the months leading up to October 7th. Attack was dismissed. Weird. Why were they dismissed? Right? Why is it that they were dismissed? Makes you really question. So at 1 a.m., hours before the attack, the intelligence agency reported Hamas was conducting emergency preparedness, but also saw signs of restraint and assessed that Hamas was not interested in escalation. You see people preparing for what? For what? And you don't act, right? So how do you look at this and then say it's not a false flag? I'm just going to say it. I think it was a false flag. They let this happen. They let it happen. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. Right? 2 iterations. And both times they were dismissed. It's right there. Right. So it gives them the green light to go into Gaza. And then do whatever they need to do with Gaza. Do whatever they want to do with Gaza. Because the plan is that they are going to, push for Greater Israel. Right? Greater Israel. Theodore Herzl, right, is he is the father of Zionism. Okay, and he was inspired by the biblical the biblical borders, I should say, of Israel, right, and what Israel was. Okay, here's the thing, though, is that where is it? I just had it. Here we go. Move the chat out of the way. Okay, so here is the actual map. You've got Manasseh, Ephraim, Benjamin, Judah, Simon, Reuben, Hashem. Is that Hashem? Naphtali. You've got you have the 12 tribes of Israel here. Okay, this is the promised land. This is what Adonai had promised the children of Israel. Okay, this is the land. This is Greater Israel. Why is this Greater Israel? Okay, if this is supposed to be the promised land. Okay. Then why is this it? Why? Makes you wonder. What's out here? What is out here? Questions. There are a lot of questions that need answers. They need answers. Yeah, so Greater Israel. Okay, Greater Israel is, exactly like I pointed out here, but it's the plan that, we just visited that. I've got too many tabs open. It is the plan that Netanyahu is wanting to complete, right? He wants Greater Israel. And that's not just him, that's the Likud party as well, right? That's their right-wing party. They want Greater Israel. They want control over all of this land. So, and that includes the West Bank. That includes the Golan Heights, which is something that they've already had for a number of years now, right? They also want to push into Egypt, and they also want to push into Saudi Arabia and all of these other places. So why? None of this here is the promised land. None of this, right? Right here is the promised land. This is the promised land. Okay, because that is where the 12 tribes of Israel was, right? 12 tribes of Israel, right there. So, doesn't make sense to me. Okay, make it make sense. You cannot fit a square into a round hole. Can't do it. Okay, or I should say, you can't fit a circle into the square hole. Okay? No matter how many memes you come across. All right. And so we were just talking about Golan Heights. Okay. I think this was back in was it 67? I think it was 67. Um, no, 87, I think. I think it was 87. Um, Israel, yep, Israeli. And I think I looked at this earlier, but I can't remember exactly um, where I saw that information. But yeah, so they got control of Golan Heights, and there's also something that I wanted to bring up to you guys too.
Ted Cruz.
Well, you know how I feel.
Um, I forget her name. I'm just gonna put she.
We
Yeah.
make the best weapons in the world, and we've got a lot of them. And we've given a lot to Israel, frankly. You used them well. It also takes people that know how to use them. And you obviously used them very well. But so many that Israel became strong and powerful, which ultimately led to peace. The world is loving Israel again. And I said to, the world is big and it's strong. But there was getting to be a period of
There was a speech. Miriam. That's right, Miriam.
broken promises from many other American presidents. You know that. They kept promising. I never understood it until I got there. There was a lot of pressure put on these presidents. It was put on me too, but I didn't yield to the
What the fuck is this shit, dude? Just give me the actual.
Give a very special thanks to know that. They kept promising. I never understood it until I got there. There was a lot of pressure put on these presidents. It was put on me too, but I didn't yield to the pressure. But every president for decades said, we're going to do it.
So Miriam Adelson, I forget exactly who her husband is, but Miriam donated, what was it, 250 something million, sometime before this speech. And in this speech, he had asked her if she loved Israel more than America. And guys, mind you, she's an American. As far as I know, she's an American. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, she's an American. So, yeah.
The difference is I kept my promise and officially recognized the capital of Israel and moved the American embassy to Jerusalem.
Which is what Miriam Adelson wanted to happen. Okay. Let's see. Uh, so yeah, there's a clip I saw of her. Let's see.
Stand up, Miriam. Stand up.
And that's her right there, obviously.
Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. They'd call me. He'd call me. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I could think of. Look at her sitting there so innocently. She's got 60 billion in the bank. 60 billion. And I think she's saying no more. And she loves Israel, but she loves it, and they would come in, and her husband was a very aggressive man, but I loved him. He was a very aggressive, very supportive of me. And he'd call up, can I come over and see you? I say, Sheldon, I'm the President of the United States. It doesn't work that way. He'd come in and would do. But they were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest things to ever happen to Israel. Miriam, stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country. She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say. We love you. Thank you, darling, for being here. That's a great honor. Great honor. She's a wonderful woman.
Yeah. So why is it that a woman like this cannot answer whether she loves America or Israel more, being an American citizen herself? Right. And then she called for a U.S. embassy to be put in Israel, in Jerusalem. Let's see. I remember seeing the clip somewhere. Oh, I think this is it.
Declaring that
Jerusalem. Promise kept.
Oh.
Jerusalem and to move the embassy to Jerusalem.
go.
President is Donald Trump.
Do you not want to fuck up, please? Oh. I don't understand why. All right, don't worry. I got the fix for it, guys. Hang on just a second. Piece of shit headphones, man. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get a wired pair. That way this doesn't keep happening. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Alrighty, I think we're good to go now.
He promised.
Oh, come on. Oh, there we go.
Promise to He promised to recognize Jerusalem and to move the embassy to Jerusalem. Promise kept.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Heard it yourself. Heard it yourself. Trump recognized the capital of Israel and then also moved U.S. Embassy over to Jerusalem. Promises made, promises kept for Israel, but not for you. While you starve to death, while you can't find a job, Israel is taking in 240. Oh, just had it. $244 billion. $500 million every year. On top of the $3.8 billion per year. So promises made, promises kept for Israel. But how deep does it go, right? How entrenched is this small country in the Middle East? How deeply entrenched is it? Holy fuck. Holy fuck. This is when you realize that it doesn't matter. That it doesn't matter at all, whether red or blue. They don't care about you. Okay, so let's talk about Trump here. $230 million he's gotten from AIPAC. Okay, American Israel Public Association Committee, I believe. Affairs Committee. That's right. That's right. American Israel Public Affairs Committee. That's right. $230 million. JD Vance. $167,000. Okay. Pro-Israel lobby. Then you have so many others. Mike Pence, $206,000. Kevin McCarthy, $467,000. Tulsi Gabbard, I was surprised to see Tulsi Gabbard, $46,500. Kamala Harris, $9.4 million. And then there are so many others. So many others. And if I remember correctly, Joe Biden was in there as well. I think it was the Israel First candidates. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I was wrong on that. But I do remember seeing his name listed somewhere. I do remember seeing his name listed somewhere. I can't remember exactly where. But all of the names that you would expect, of course, yeah, they're in there. They are in there. Let's see. Pelosi, 617,000. Look at all these people. Bought and paid for by AIPAC. Bought and paid for. Adam Schiff, 6.2 million. Some even $5,000 that I've seen. Oh, crazy. Crazy. They've gotten all the way down to the state level. The state level. Even district level. Okay? Because I found that shit, we might even be able to find him here. There we go. Ted Cruz even 1.8 billion or 1.8 million. There we go. Where is Tony at? Where are you? Oh, there you are. $1.9 million. Tony Gonzalez. And he's running against Brandon Herrera. Brandon, I hope you get it, buddy. State level. All the way down to state level, guys. All the way down to state level. All the way down to state level. We have been sold out. We have been sold out. The American people, the average American person has been sold out. Because these are our tax dollars. These are our tax dollars. It's all circulating. It's all circulating. And we don't see any of that. What happened to those stimulus checks that we were promised? What about that, Trump? What happened to that? What happened to deportation? What happened to mass deportation? What happened? What happened to that? What happened to all of these promises that you promised the American people? What about that? Oh, look at that. We got one good guy here. Maybe. But all of these people in the red taking AIPAC money. Selling us out. Selling us out. Oh boy. Oh boy. So, what's left to do? Well, you start doing what Brandon Herrera does, and I've even heard Bo on Legion of Men talk about this as well. You start running for office yourself. Right? You start taking these people out of office by winning against them. Because there's no way that they're not going to take $17,000, right? $1.9 million and still support you, the average American, who can only donate $2,500. Yet we have massive lobbyists such as AIPAC that has a massive control over. Actually, I should have. I forgot to bring that up. Is that also on? That is also on AIPAC Tracker. What the fuck? Damn. AIPAC now holds 331 seats. How many seats are in? Let's just make sure. How many? There are a total of 531 members of Congress, 107 in Senate, 435 serve in the U.S. House of Representatives, and I think that was the House, right? Yes, the House of Representatives. That is an overwhelming majority. Look at that. Black is APEC. Look at that. Look at that. Guys, that's insane. That is insane. So, you cannot vote your way out of this. You cannot vote your way out of this. It's not happening. Just when we thought that transparency was going to happen, we had a president telling us that the Epstein files was a fucking Democrat hoax. We have an FBI agency telling us that Charlie has the bones of steel. Right? The American people got nothing except footed with the bill to keep funding Israel's war. So while we get poorer and we starve, these people continue to get paid, thus circulating all of the money for themselves. You want to know what the real problems here in America is? Or excuse me, you want to know what the real problem here in America is? These people. These people. Because they write your laws. They write your policies. They tell you what to do. So. Oh. America is in for a rude awakening, guys. A massive awakening. How deep does the rabbit hole go? Don't know. Don't know. And now there's also evidence coming out that Israel was also behind the Charlie situation. I'm not saying they are. Right? But there are implications of it. And Israel is all about implications. Just to be clear, it's not the Jewish people. It's the Jewish leadership. The Jewish leadership that's doing the evil shit. That's the problem. Because the average Jewish person may not even be Jewish. Again, may not have any idea what's going on. So, before people start talking about anti-Semitism, shut the fuck up. Fuck off. I'm not an anti-Semite at all. I judge people based on their character. And if they have good character, you're awesome. You're good. You are a beloved human being in my eyes. But if you are a piece of shit, I don't like you. At all. So, make that clear. But we are just at an hour, guys. That's what I wanted to talk about today. I don't think that peace is going to be maintained. I mean, look, guys, this region has been at war for thousands and thousands of years over one speck of fucking dirt. Okay? At a point in time, there was pagan occupation, and then there was Jewish or Hebrew occupation, and then there was pagan occupation again through the Romans, right? After what was it 78 AD? I think it was definitely the 70s AD when Israel fell and they scattered. So, and then at some point, there was Muslim occupation, or I should say Christian occupation, and then Muslim occupation, and then it was going back and forth between that for a long time. And now, it's Jewish, Christian, and Muslim occupation. But 1948, Israel started kicking people out. And that's true. 3 terrorist cells came together to form Israel. And that is public information. That is public information that you can find. And that is a fact. And they kicked people out. And they established Israel. And so there's no way in hell that they're going to give up the idea. They're not just an idea. Excuse me. They're not going to give up Greater Israel. Not by any means at all. So, and they are going to make us fund it, not America, the average American person. So, remember that when you go into the voting booth at your local elections, your state elections, your federal elections. Remember that. Remember that. We need people like Aaron Spencer and Brennan Herrera. But I would say more I definitely support both of them. But we need men like those who will stand up and do the right thing. Not because they're getting a fucking payout, but they want to do the right thing for the American people. They're there to be a public servant. A servant to the people, not a servant to foreign nations' special interests. Initially this channel started as a men's channel. Guys, look. Do you want to know where a lot of the problems come from? Is greediness of the human heart. Greediness. You want to know what the real red pill is? This is the real red pill. This is the real red pill. Not your woman bad videos. I'm getting really tired of seeing these videos bashing women. Yeah, there are some stupid ones out there, but you're being so fucking distracted at what the real problems actually are. $230 million. $230 million. And our vice president's also getting paid out too. So, remember that when you go vote, guys. There's no way that you're voting yourself out of this. Can't do it. Can't do it. We got to start running ourselves. That's why I say we need a new party. We need a people's party. That's what we need. We need a people's party. A party for the people, by the people, of the people. These people are so disconnected from the average the average person's struggle and reality, but the average person's struggle. So they can go fuck themselves. Dude, our country's cooked, guys. Our country is cooked. We have to replace these people with people who are actually America first, who actually care about America. And guess what? If these pro-Israel people, want some things done in Israel, you can go to Israel and advocate for that shit there. Stop getting other nations to afford your shit. Don't care what nation you are. Get out of our country. Get out of our country. That's all I'm going to say on that, guys. You guys let me know what you think. You guys let me know what you think. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here, guys. You guys have a lovely night. If you need me for anything, please reach out. I love you all. I wish you all a lovely night. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.